Oh, you're going to love this class. It's going to be awesome. Okay, welcome everybody to another edition of Tuning In with Tony. And today we are going to be talking about the Year of the Snake. Being a feng shui consultant and an expert in that field in many ways in Canada here, we go through these energetic zodiac energies every year. Last year was the year of the dragon, and we're slowly getting into, or we're already in, the energy of the year of the snake. We're going to be talking about that today on how 2025 can be the best year ever. We're going to explain why it's going to be so challenging, because our road is going to be very riddled with obstacles. But if you can remember this show and all the things that it'll come with it, it'll show you how you can survive and actually thrive after all of this. Okay? Before we get into the details there, this is brought to you by Higher Self. It's a series of teachers that we've gotten together to try to bring a raising of your spirits and raising of your vibration to a big peak. In other words, we want to make sure everybody is going to be evolving as the earth is evolving. There's so many things going on our earth right now, and so many people are feeling a shift. Some people are knowing where that shift is going. It's all about going into more of a love shift and more of a people are caring, but there's a lot of fear out there as well. There's a lot of uncertainty. So we're here to sort of give you some insight on what we're going to be doing over the next couple of years, but this year particularly is going to be really big on doing things a certain way. We're going to be talking about that for sure. We can raise your vibrations through coming in with a personal tuning session. It's like a massage, but there's no physical touch. We work on the auric field, the energies outside of you. That's where most of the discord and the disconnection exists, and then as it gets slowly into your body and goes into your body, then it becomes physical. But it starts off like several feet away from your body when they start off, and that's where all those tuning forks do it, and they could really make a huge difference in balance. The other thing is we have various classes that we can teach you how to do a lot of the things yourself. We have angel reading classes where you can do a reading on yourself. We have things like a self-tuning class, which we use 3 basic forks on how to raise your vibration in so many ways, and you can do it yourself every day. And one of the things about the quality of these forks are basically lifetime. You'll have them for the rest of your life. It's not something you have to buy every year. You buy it once, and it's forever sort of thing. And the other thing we're working on a mediumship class. We have feng shui classes where we can show you the various energies of your home and how it will show you the deeper meanings in who you are. And that's going to be big in 2025. We also have certified classes on tuning forks. If you want to get more serious into the healing aspect, we can do that. And distance healing and distance tuning, where you can tune another person in another country. Can show you how to do all of that. So whether we do it or whether we can show you how to do it, it's all in the name of trying to raise that vibration so you can get through this year and others a little smoother, and just knowing that you'll have that insight coming. And of course, we do these classes every week in the Tuning In with Tony, and we turn them into podcasts. So this one's going to be in a video, and because it's so current, it is the January 29th was the actual time that this has come through. We're going to post it on our YouTube channel right after this broadcast. Normally we will wait a year and a half before we release it, but this is sort of sensitive and people need to know is what I was getting from Spirit, and this will be out for everybody, okay? And this way we can go into that deeper part of us. And so let's get right into it. Well, I don't have to tell you and guess what the color today is. Okay. Today is Fire Engine Red. We want to get you to this point in a tribal wave. Red is traditionally a root chakra energy where it's tribal. It's a place where you belong. It's survival. It has so many factors of being earth and being grounded, all of that. And the year of the snake is absolutely amazing in that way because 2025, the theme itself, of course, is renewal and transformation. That's going to be pretty much what's going to happen this year, transformation. Even though the year 2025, if you take all the numbers and you add them all up, okay, it comes to nine when you want a single digit. Nine is representational of completion, when things are done. Things that have happened over and over and over again. It's like, okay, I'm done with this. I'm complete. That's what this energy is. So if you've been holding off, letting things go over the years, that's all been good. It's just been absorbed into the year following and the year following that. If you've never released the fact that you might feel you're not enough, or you might feel you're not loved, if you've gone through especially a couple of relationships that haven't worked out, whatever the situation is, the point is, when we come to this year, all that older stuff has to go. It will affect you in a major way, financially, emotionally, in so many ways. So we're going to sort of give you the ideas that if we look at some of the things that we're going to be relaying today, it will actually end with a much more prosperous, better jobs, better income, better relationships in the outcome, because that's kind of like the reward, I guess you can say it. Not that it's conditional, but because we're flowing into an energy of transformation and you're ready, you're almost saying, yeah, bring it on, let's just do this. It's great. It's a wonderful thing to be able to do it that way. But the transformation, when we look at it, some people are kind of scared of it. Transformation, it's like I don't like change. And so Spirit wants to sort of quantify that because there is a major difference between change and transformation. Although they sound the same, don't they? Like, for instance, people will sometimes deliberate what kind of toothpaste they should have. They want to change their toothpaste, and they'll be there because there's such a plethora of different varieties of toothpaste right now, with fluoride, without fluoride, the different tastes, and so on. And so those are small changes like on a certain color we would like to wear today, those kind of changes. We always wear black. I know a person that wears black all the time. Every time I see them, they're wearing black. That's the color that they prefer, and that's what they've always worn, apparently. So every time I see this person, so it's always in that. But all that is going to change because when we are transforming, humans have always been amazing at transformation. Like if you put yourself in a foreign country with just the clothes you have on your back, when your parents came here to Canada from various countries. I know mine came from Hungary when there was a Hungarian Revolution in 56, 57. They had to leave. I was actually in Hungary last year, and I saw the place where they crossed the river to go into Yugoslavia at that time, and that was their new life. So it was massive transformation. And they did very well. When they came to this country, they just had the clothes on their back and I think a little suitcase. Shortly after that, I was born. So that's even more change, a new country and a new kid. So I can only imagine, but they did extremely well. And that's what humans do very well, is adapting. So don't look at it as these little changes here. And I don't like when things change, like I have to change my cereal. These are small changes. But when we look at massive transformation, look at it that way, that if you are willing to do massive changes for your family, you'll do it. You will absolutely, and you have done. Your parents did it, and of course you will have no trouble doing it. So look at it that way. Also this year, it's very amazing that we were getting that on the 25th, again, 25, January, which is the 2025, but January 25, we had many of our planets line up. Uranus, Neptune, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Mercury, everything was lined up and it was all pointing towards the Earth at one point on the 25th. You could actually see it in the sky. All right? It was all lined up. Like a magnifying glass, and it's all shining. You know, in the magnifying glass, you hold it and there's a little dot of light, and a short while later, there's smoke and then there's a fire. Okay? That's what we were going through in 2020, in just a few days ago. So there's a lot of energy coming in to our planet. At the same time, there's a lot of energy coming out from the in part in the middle, in the center of our Earth, shooting outwards, coming, and all the people on the surface are feeling it. Animals are feeling it. Plants are feeling it. There's so many changes in massive transformations that way because the Earth wants to ascend to this area of love, understanding, just everything, being able to have understanding about who you are, and there's that push. So that's where that is. So that all those planets lining up is a big deal. So it's all about renewing, and renewing itself is like a state of shedding the old stuff and incorporating the new in our lives. That's what we do. We just feel we need to make a change. So many times when my mom used to say, okay, the spring cleaning, that she would open the doors and windows, even in the middle of winter, we'd be freezing. It'd be like minus 20 degrees or something, and she'd be opening the doors and windows for about 10 minutes just to get the stale air out. I don't know where that came from, but it was years later I realized, oh, she's changing the chi and the life force in the home. And as soon as the doors closed, right away, all of a sudden, the house got a lot warmer, a lot faster, because you can't heat stagnant energy. So when you change it, you can heat that. And so our ancestors used to know a lot of that stuff, all right? But transformation itself has been great. This is also going to be a year of reflection, which is part of transformation, because it's only when you reflect. You look at your life right now, and you look back, 10, 20, 30, 40 years and more. And then the question is, all of those years are what I am today. All of those relationships possibly that didn't work, or all the jobs that didn't work, and all the things that didn't work, and the frustrations and the obstacles I had to go through, all came together where you are today. That's why you're as strong as you are today. All right? If you look at people that's been coddled and sheltered their whole life, where they were given a living, like here's my gold card, I hope you can make a living, and there's very little strength. As soon as something bad happens or something that is challenging, right away they have no idea what to do, and they're stuck. They've never had the practice of, okay, we can get through this, just do this, and we visualize and all kinds of other techniques to be able to get out of various obstacles that are in the way, right? And so we're going to do all of that. So we're going to be reflecting a lot on where we are and exactly who are you right now. That's another thing. In the year of the snake knows exactly who he is and what he is and where they fit in the ecosystem of this planet. I mean, if you look at it, what do we need mosquitoes for? Not that big. We would like to eliminate mosquitoes, but however, that is a major food source for really thousands of animals and thousands of creatures that are on this earth. And the snake is the same. They have a purpose on this earth, but they know who they are and where they fit in. And do we? Where do I fit in? And it's when we know we have value, when we know that what we are doing has purpose, we know why we're here. Boy, doesn't things start aligning so well for us. Everything starts just coming together because we're not doubting what people used to tell us, where we couldn't throw a ball or we couldn't do something, and all of a sudden we think that, I guess I'm not tall enough to go on that ride. I guess I'm not rich enough to go into that business. Eventually, the nouns start omitting, and then all of a sudden, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to do this. I'm not good enough to public speak. I'm not good enough. So all that is going to have to change. It's going to have to be relabeled in a different way. This is going to be a year of deep connection, okay? Everything that you will do, you will be bringing in that female energy. So even the guys have female energies, they have masculine energy. Women have the same. We have female and masculine energy. But you ladies, this year you'll be drawing a lot on your female energy. The female energy is very powerful, very intuitive. Females can go in deep, deep inside and really find the purpose in what they do. They're no longer can or have ever been able, as soon as the things start happening, able to be deceived in some way because they just feel something's not right. Us guys, we don't always see that. We might have gut feelings, but we dismiss it very, very quickly. But as soon as the guys start looking at their female or their masculine, or not their masculine, their feminine energy that's inside, they're more softer, they're more intuitive, and that's the whole idea. They connect better. Women are great, great connectors. It's giving birth to various new ideas. What ideas do you have? I know you've been doing the same job for so long, but maybe we can do it a different way. And some people take offense to that. This is one of the reasons when we've been doing something for the same thing for 30 years, and then a new person comes in and says, oh, I can do it better, or not better, but I can do it faster. Do the same thing, but I can do it faster. They sometimes take offense. Especially, somebody once said in the high-tech industry, if you want something done faster, hire a lazy person. Yeah, seriously, because a lazy person doesn't want to work that hard. So they will find a way to do it in half the time so they don't have to work as hard. So if you look at the rationale, it makes sense. So when you hire a person that's brilliant, but they don't want to do the work, I don't want to do that. They'll find some way to do it in the 10th of the time, then realize it'll still work. He says, how'd that happen? Well, it all depends on how forceful you are and how much you are so determined that I'm not going to work those 25 hours. I think we can get this whole thing done before the sun goes down today. He's like, well, we've never done that. I says, okay, well, let's, because I'm not going to work that hard. So when something is really, really important for you and you see it being done in much less, it's those lazy people that'll do it. So that works for the high-tech industry. Might not be applicable for landscaping, okay? So there's always applications for everything, right? But it's all about shedding our skin. That's what snakes do. They shed the skin. And they realize that the skin can only go so much, so big. And so they look at it as, I got to grow. I mean, that's what snakes do. They grow into a larger snake. And so they know that the elasticity of the skin is at its maximum. So eventually it just gets to the point where it separates it and it just lets it go. And it just goes right through. In other words, it's easy for them to get to this higher vibration. And that's what we sort of need to go to in that way. So we want to move with ease. Everything is easy. When you tell somebody who has worked so hard in their life, there's so many things going on, they have so much trials and tribulations, it's really hard for them to fathom what easy really means anymore. And so things like that, we need to sort of look at it. All right, I have my beliefs, so I'm really open enough to hear someone else's. And that's kind of where that energy needs to be. Doesn't mean you want to be there to be convinced and saying that you were wrong all these years. It's just that, we need to find different ways to do things. Faster, easier way to do things. This will also be a year of many, many triggers. Triggers are going to be, wow, just over the top. Like, for instance, if, let's say, you don't like public speaking, all right? Let's say, I don't want to be getting in front of a group of people and talking about it because, I don't know if I have much to say or what I have to say isn't of value. I just don't want to be in front of people, embarrass myself. Maybe I won't present very well. They won't understand. There could be fears in that. And if you have any training with a good public speaker like Carl Richards, I'm not sure if he's here today, but he's an amazing speaker. He talks very clearly. He's very articulate, and it was great because at one point he said in his younger years he had a bit of a stutter. And he got rid of all that just by being and practicing over and over and over again. And he got better at it. So this year, if you have a job, and let's say the job isn't paying too bad, it's pretty good, but all of a sudden, with the cost of all the things we have to buy things, our cost of living has gone up, and we all of a sudden see ourselves that we're now dipping into our savings more and more each month. We're saying, well, we need to make more money. And so what the energies will do is that in that job that you are enjoying, oh, by the way, we have other areas that we would like to launch a new product or launch a new technique or a new way of doing things. We have these things that we can do. And we need somebody to go and teach people how to do this. So we need somebody to public it. And you're the perfect person because you know your thing inside and out. You're really good at it. And all of a sudden, you're now left with, oh my God, the one fear that I have of public speaking is now going to make me more money. So I got to decide whether I'm going to make that money and take the risk or just say, no, this fear is bigger than my desire for higher income. It will. And so all of a sudden it'll be in your face, well, you can't make it for where you are. So the energies will manifest it in such a way that you have to decide to get these triggers out and realize they're just beliefs. Triggers are beliefs. They're assumptions. There are things that happened many years ago that you got triggered. Maybe you did do a presentation in class, but maybe you embarrassed yourself. Maybe something was said and people laughed at you and they teased you, weeks after, and I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to be in front of a group of people. So the energies will say, no, that was then. It doesn't mean the same thing is going to happen now, right? So those kind of triggers will happen. Things like, I am not enough. Then it's going to give you that, not ultimatum, but give you the choices of being enough or going and moving on to be prosperous. This is going to be a very, very prosperous year for many of us if we let ourselves do it. But we got to get past the triggers that people aren't helping me. That's why I'm not doing better. Or that I should have more education. That's why I'm not making the money I am making. And many other examples of what you think you're not making enough money. Those triggers will be starting to come up again and again. It's like another trigger. So it's going to be riddled with that because they want you to let it go. They want you to let these beliefs that are old to let go, to shed them, to get them off your system. The other great thing about this era, this time that we have, and many people are going to be talking about this particular year because in 2025, when we transform and everything, it's going to be something that our future history books are going to be writing about, of what we're going through right now and how we turned the world from where it was. It was a darker place a few years ago with many of the mandates and so on, and things are getting better as they are going through. But in any sense, that we're in a really powerful era. This year will be the year of really self-evaluation, and it's not only the year of the snake, but it's the year of the wood snake. So what does that mean? In part of the zodiacs, the 12 zodiacs, and the snake is one of them, there's also 5 elements. The 5 elements, of course, are fire, water, wood, all right, metal, and earth. This is the wood snake. The wood snake is extremely powerful. It's rooted in growth. It's totally personal development. So from this day forward, if you take any classes to better yourself, to make yourself a better speaker where Carl Richards can help you, to make yourself that you can really get out there. Maybe you want to start your own podcast. Maybe you in some way want to communicate something to others. And there's that self-development. It's going to be incredibly profitable for you in the end. In other words, you're going to be able to use that class of personal development and it will mean more. Now, if you're in that retirement stage, maybe it'll be more fulfilling for you when you take a cooking class or you take a class on Qigong or Tai Chi or something. It'll be very, very beneficial. So personal development is very big in the year of the snake. It's also going to be big on the revisiting who you are. In other words, if you have some indigenous blood in you, you're going to be looking at what your culture used to be, whatever tribe you used to be in. Go back 2, 3, 400 years of your ancestors, of where they came from, and all of this. And when you find out who you really are, massive, massive benefit. You're going to realize that you're a generation of fighters, of warriors. All those are going to be growth in so many ways. It's also growth in terms of the earth, because wood is the earth. If you look at how a wood creates itself is through a seed of an idea, a seed of just something, or even a seed of life. All it takes is a seed for life to create itself, right? When a tree becomes what it is, it's from an acorn. It had a seed and it grew into this incredible tree, and that's where the wood comes from. So if you got any jewelry, I still have some wood bracelets. There's this one. I think that this one is mahogany, but if you're wearing wood in this era, in this year, so if you go to a flea market, or if you're in a store somewhere and they have some wood bracelets, now make sure the wood isn't coated with various sprays. There's some that I've been hearing that from China and other places that they want to make them real cheap. Get it so that somebody in that town makes it, that they're using it with their own bare hands, because then there's love, and so that's for the indigenous, very big. If you're near a reservation, or if you're near a place where some of these people made it by hand, oh, that's the best. Okay, they make it out of wood, and they could have it, with caribou shapes and different signs on it and symbols. These are really good. So wearing something of wood is really good. Another one in crystal form is what we call petrified wood. It's still wood, but it's considered a crystal, because what petrified wood is when the lava came over on one part of the evolution of the earth, it went over trees, and it brought trees, and it made the tree into an instant fossil, and it's hard as a rock. So they would make it just like a crystal, like rock, but it's actually from wood. It's petrified wood, as they call it. Another one is amber. Amber is the sap from the wood that's been fossilized. Incredibly great for kids. If you have a person, a little child that's colicky, or that's going through some really difficult times with teething and stuff, you put a bracelet on, or have this next to their crib or something. It will stimulate that, and they won't have as much of a teething pain as they normally would. So all these wood elements are really good when you're transforming. When you're having a rough time, touch something of wood. So touch your sofa if it's solid wood on it. You got your dining table that might be solid wood. And so just wood products are very good this year, okay, in that way. So that really gets rid of that older part of you that is trying to come out and be lighter, okay? You're going to be looking at the deeper depths of healing. It's not just healing because, you broke your arm and you're trying to get your bones to mend. I'm talking really deep. It's like the deeper parts of you that perhaps was even there before you were born, sort of thing. Past life stuff. And this is where we are shy about saying what we need to say. Let's say people always told you to be quiet, that you should only be seen, not heard, right? So you're going to be looking into the greater depths of who you are, that you do have something to say, and then we can do a lot of things together, okay? But this is where it all is. When we start going that deep and that amount of transformation that we're talking about, you got to realize it's also going to be a small portion of instability. Yeah, it's going to be a little unstable at first, and I'll tell you why. When we go from an old belief, which is heavy, let's say it's a belief that I don't have much to say. Let's go back to the public speaking thing. Nobody wants to hear me. I know I could really use this job and the extra money if I can just open myself up to public speak, to be able to say things of things I know to other people to teach them. I would be able to really contribute something. If you can get past that, you got to realize you're letting go of an old belief that you were not good enough to public speak. And yet, when you do that, you're going to feel lighter. It's a lighter energy to be able to say, I do have something to say. So that's lighter than I have nothing to say. Make sense? So when you do that, you're going to be out of that old energy. You're going to be more sensitive because now you're in a lighter energy. But here's the thing. You haven't yet sort of swallowed the entire concept of public speaking, right? It's still new and it's still sort of, and you're going to feel uncertain. There's going to be doubt. Oh, did I make the right choice? Oh, what have I done? You know, you're going to question yourself twice and three times, and you're going to wonder, I've really made a mistake, because you won't feel that it's the right answer yet, because the new answer hasn't arrived yet. Not until you do 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 presentations with other people, and people say, you know what? That was a good presentation. Thank you for that. What you said really made an impact on me. And all of a sudden, the confidence goes up. Okay, well, you're welcome. Thank you. You know, and once you get that, then you're sold. You're in that new energy. But until you get there, you're going to feel you've made a mistake. So realize that when you make this huge shift this year, you're going to right away feel it's the wrong one. And so Spirit just wants you to realize that if that is coming, if that's going to be you, realize it's okay. You made this decision based on a deeper intuitive knowledge or feeling that you need to make this. And that's where a lot of our decisions are going to start coming in at. You're going to have a force that will want to look deep inside before you make this decision. And by the time you make it, you know you're going to be totally committed that, yeah, this is the right decision. It's only my fears. But as soon as you make the decision, you'll feel you made the wrong one. You know, it's a lot like if I say, heads or tails. You know, we're going to have pizza or we're going to have hamburger. Okay, heads or tails. So call it. So as soon as I flip the coin, as soon as it leaves my hand and you say tails and I flip it, I say, oh, I should have said heads. That's very normal for humans to doubt what they just said, even though despite the amount of research that you've done on something or how you are feeling about something, and you're saying, okay, this is the university, let's say, that I want to go to for the next 4 years to get my MBA. Let's say, all right? The moment you make the decision that I'm going to go, you'll figure, oh, gee, I wonder if that was the right decision. You haven't even gone to school yet. You have no idea. Okay, it's still, you've just made the decision. And so that's normal. All right, so when you make this decision and you feel like it's the wrong one, just realize you're not alone. All right, it's part of that energy to feel unstable because the newer stuff hasn't hit yet. All right, the other thing that's going to change this year, just to bring in as much energy as possible, is going to be a huge time crunch, meaning that what you think that you could attain in 3 years, you'll do in 5 months. There's going to be a compression of time. I'm going to not be able to get this new house for at least 2 years. And 3 months later, there's an opportunity. And you could do it. All right. So that will happen. So don't be surprised of what you think, how long something will take a fraction of the time. Okay. So that's going to be very, very common. Again, when you make a decision on something, it won't just be what the surface will be. You won't be fooled by benefits. Like this one will pay more, this one maybe has a company car, this one has a better dental plan, or whatever the case is that you're looking at for this job. You'll look at it as, what do I feel about this? It's always, because you're going to be adding that to your decision making. What do I feel? Can I really, maybe one will have a lower sort of a salary, but the potential to grow or to be a manager and then a senior manager will be much greater in another company, but it's a smaller company, right? So whether or not you want to risk that, but you're going to feel which one will be the best for you on all. So you're going to go deeper, in other words, okay? You're going to go really deep into finding what those meanings are. Also, Year of the Snake will be very much a grounding year. So highly highly advised that grounding is going to be big. If in Canada we are pretty cold, we can't go barefoot doing the gardening right now. It's like 3 feet of snow, and there's got to be a minus 15 or minus 20 degrees out there. So it's really cold. So get yourself a mattress cover that you could plug into the wall. These are grounding mats. You can get them on many sites. Amazon has it. There's several other sites that have it. But it's basically a sheet that goes like a regular sheet, but it's got weaves of metal in it, and it goes to your mattress. I think they come in queen, king. I'm not sure about the king, but I'm pretty sure about the queen and the double. They might have king by now. And it basically hooks up to another wire, and you take that wire and you plug it into your outlet in the grounding part. It doesn't have any power in it, it's just grounding. There's about a 15-foot stake outside, which grounds the whole house. That they had to drive this huge stake in the ground, put a copper wire on it, and then it hooks into your panel box. All right? And so that small one, the third prong, that's your grounding. So it's not power, it's grounding. So when you plug this in there, it's like you're sleeping on the grass all night. And it just brings in a lot of less inflammation, and there's about 20 other health benefits that it has. On top of that, realize if you're wearing slippers all the time, you're always on carpet, you're always on, and you're never really connected to the ground. You always have socks on. Have it where, the odd time you have barefoot on hardwood floor or on tile. I know it's a lot colder. I get it. But you can also get socks that have grounding in it. Okay, so looking at things like that, grounding is going to be very big. If you look at the snake, I mean, its belly is on the ground, hardline, and it burrows itself in the ground, so it's very much an earthy type of animal. Okay, and of course that connected to what is going there. It's connected to this grounding. It makes it so it's going to be a lot of the things that you're going to be deciding on was because you're going to be well grounded, and you're going to feel not so much fuzzy face or fuzzy head. It's going to be like when you feel kind of spacey, you're not really making the decisions you want to make. All right, that's going to be gone. So once you're grounded, the other part is wear red socks. If you have any socks that are red, or if red socks go on sale, get them. Because you put that on your feet, that is part of your root system. And even though you may not be on the floor, the red will bring in that element of grounding. Not the best, but it's still better than, let's say, black. I would really avoid wearing black socks or wearing socks that have they're polyester, and they're rayon or nylon. I don't know if they make them anymore, all like that. But try and get cotton. Try and get wool. These are good, very grounding type of materials. So it's a lot of grounding there. In doing all of that, it's going to be your basic healing. You need to heal. Spirit says that our healing, on the most part, on the outside, it's okay when we have like broken bones, or we hurt ourselves and we heal ourselves that way. But this is inner healing. These are scars that you cannot see. When somebody said to you, I don't know, a long time ago maybe, that I need to move on. Let's say this happened to a client recently, so I'm just relaying a possible story that might apply to you. Basically, the boyfriend came in and says, I'm no longer attracted to you. I'm going to go to somebody else that's more attractive. Imagine somebody saying that to somebody. More attractive. So now this person has been carrying that for 40 years. This is, okay, this has nothing to do with your looks. It's just that it wasn't a match. And that just came out of his mouth, took 5 seconds, which isn't actually the bulk of the damage. The most of the damage is the thousands of times this person plays it in their head over 40 years. Okay, I mean, that's the damage. So it's all about rejuvenation, being able to rejuvenate yourself, realizing, you are a beautiful person. You are a person of worth. Otherwise, there's no way Spirit would have let you on this earth if you had absolutely no purpose. There's no way. It's impossible. And even to come on this earth, the odds of, because so many wanted to come at this time, the odds of you being on this earth was 400 trillion to 1. That's how many other souls wanted to be here, but you got in. So it's just like winning the lottery big time. All right? So you want to be able to look at healing in so many different ways. So as I said, take Qigong, take Tai Chi, take Feng Shui. We have Feng Shui classes as well. You know, take courses on tuning yourself, or there's different ones that you can do with yoga. Yoga is a fantastic one. Highly recommend that as well. Okay, just a couple more just before we start our meditation. Another one is going to be big for 2025. That's going to be magnificent in terms of prosperity. Is please, please, please take care of yourself. That's the way they told me. People in 2025, if you start neglecting your health, neglecting your emotions, neglecting your worth this year, it will be one of the worst years you're going to have. So somehow talk to somebody, talk to a channeler, talk to a counselor, talk to somebody to get this out, because you need to start taking care of yourself. Not only physically, because that's easy. You know, exercising, that's all good, and eating the right foods, that's all good. But the deeper ones is that when you nurture yourself, if you're by yourself making a meal, I want you to light a candle. I want you to give yourself, this is for me. You can put yourself a little bit of wine and toast yourself. Do something in some way that will amplify, yes, I know I have worth. Somehow you just got to get to it this year, because the lack of self-care will be dramatically associated with the lack of income. And that's the way they're putting it, is like money and self-care are pretty close together. A person that loves themselves, and they look at a mirror before they leave their house and saying, this is, damn, I'm hot, will be going to places that will be very prosperous. Lots of people around them. Not necessarily money, but you know, when persons that get to a certain point in their life, maybe it's not money that is prosperous for you. It might be seeing your grandkids more often, or connecting to other people that have grandkids and they have stories, and you've never really gone out that way to be able to talk to other people. So from that perspective, it'll be very prosperous. So this is what you need to change your mindset, is like, this isn't a year where you can say to yourself, oh, I got to get rid of my baggage. Oh, I got to get rid of this karmic baggage, or I got to get rid of this ancestral baggage. Turn the whole thing around and say to yourself, good, I get to get rid of my baggage. I can't wait to see how far I can throw these puppies. You know, I can't wait to get rid of my ancestral stigma that it's on me, that I always thought I was less than because I was in a certain culture, or born on the opposite side of the river, or born a man and where I think I should have been a woman, or whatever the stigma is. Get past it and realize that nature doesn't make a mistake. There are always areas in which maybe you were a female in every single life, but in this life they wanted you a male for some reason, whatever that is, because there are some benefits of being a male in this perspective. There's also benefits of being the opposite, of being, let's say you were always a man and now you're a woman in this life, but you feel like you're a man. That's what the controversy is on these gender things. That's where it starts with anyway. But the reason come in because there's advantages of being a woman in this perspective, and you're not seeing it that way. All right? So this is where we're going to reevaluate and try to find out the best in us, and that will make a successful year for you. Okay? So in this meditation, we're going to do the most appropriate thing. I have a perfect meditation for you guys, and it's called Shedding Your Aura. And that's kind of what it is. Your aura is your skin. In the year of the snake, we are shedding its skin, and this particular meditation is all about the aura, okay? So I want you to take a big deep breath of this fire engine red color. This red color is fire. This invigorates you, gets you to the point where you're not subservient, where you're not behind the scenes. You are not, you're in front of the cameras, roll them, and we're just going to keep it running, all right? This is all about being assertive, not aggressive. This has nothing to do with anger. This has nothing to do with I told you so. This has to do with I am who I am and I'm proud of it. It's all about self love, realizing that you're here for a purpose. Okay? I guess my dog likes that one. All right, people. We'll see you in a little bit. Okay? Breathe in the color red, and we'll see you when we get back.
This podcast has 2 tracks. The first track you will hear crickets in the background. The second track will sound like a symphony or a choir singing. That is also crickets. The sound has been slowed down to that lifespan so that it matches the human life. I've included several layers of tuning forks so to make it easier for you in this process. And from that, you will get the following sounds. We use this in our aura shedding meditation. This will clear and shed the energy that is within your aura, much like a lobster will shed its hard shell so that it can move more freely. Enjoy.
slowly come back in the room and take a note of what came to you. Did it give any indication of what you want to get rid of first that isn't serving you? Anything that you need to shed? Sometimes the easy one comes up first. The harder ones come after. But some things that'll, yeah, that's got to go. I've been trying to get that. So when you listen to this soundtrack,
Mine came up. Mine came up, Tony, as procrastination and my procrastination. And it's actually been getting so much better this year, like in the last 6 months. But since the beginning of the year, I'm punctual. I'm on time for appointments. I make it back for our class. Instead of 10 minutes later, I make it back. I'm here. Even if I haven't taken my coat off, I'm here and I'm prepared. So procrastination's the big one for me. And it seems to go with red really well. I have no idea why, but it does. It's urgent.
yeah,
Thank you. Thank you so much.
thank you for sharing. That's amazing. Thank you very much. Thank you for that question. The only reason a person doesn't let go of something, of anything, it doesn't matter what it is because somehow deep, deep inside of you, you think it's something you need. You think it's something that if you let it go, you're going to be devastated, or if you let it go, you're going to be less than, or won't be as strong. So even though it may seem on the logical sense that, oh, it needs to go, it just needs to go, and you're still having difficulty, it means some part of you, there's a section inside of you that thinks that, no, to keep hanging on to it. And so what is that? If that's your ego, then it's a
You're saying it's
simple,
the ego, yeah.
if that's the ego, then what is the ego connected to of why this is necessary? Why do we need to do this? If
Mm.
it's the ego that just wants power and just wants
Yeah,
control, again, that's an easy one because if you know something wants to control you, but you want to move on, you can
yeah.
just, well, I'm going to let you go either way. And then you just do it. But if it's
But
holding on to you, and that's what it sounds like, you said it was holding your back, so there's a
yeah,
good chance that it's holding on to you, then it can only hold on to something that it's able to hold on to something. In other
it makes
words,
sense.
a mountain climber cannot climb a mountain if it's sheer straight up or sheer on an angle where there's nothing to hang on to, like a sheet of marble. You can't climb that. You can only climb a mountain if there are little holes and divots and little parts that you can grab onto. That's what
Mm.
makes you climb that.
Mm.
So, but there's always in a mountain, there's always holes, there's always something that you can hold on to. You just need the strength and the training for it. But it is quite easy. If you talk to a mountain climber that's been doing it for years, he can climb up almost a vertical mountain because he
Mm.
knows there's going to be various edges he can hang on to. So, what is in that you have those areas that they can hang on to? Usually it's something that you need to prove something or there's some energy. So it all depends on what it is that
Mm. It's
you're
just right
allowing
behind,
energy to hold on to.
yes, right between my shoulder blades.
Yeah. Well, that's where your wings meet, is what I'm being told. If you can see yourself as an angel,
Hmm.
that's approximately where the two wings will match or will meet,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
exactly
Okay.
that spot.
So what is there? What is there? Why do you not want to fly? Is there, in other words, there's going to be a lot of self-reflection here, and that's one of the things on the list. What is it that I have that I'm afraid to fly or I'm afraid to excel? Some of it may be identity. Maybe you might have been living in a certain way for many of your life that, oh, I'm the person that has having this issue. I've always been able to stay quiet, or I never had the ability to speak up, or I never had the ability to excel. because I wasn't rich enough, or maybe
I was saying Excel is
you,
the word I pick on. Yeah.
yeah, if it's part of your identity is you've always had problems with money, you've always had problems with
Yeah.
excelling, then that's part of your identity. And
Hmm.
so realizing that it's just a series of occurrences that you've seen yourself over and over and over and over having, it doesn't mean it's going to be your future. It just means that was probably a lot of your past. And that's it. That's
Hmm.
respected. But it doesn't mean it equates to that's your future. That's
Hmm.
silly. You can't say that
Hmm.
I've always been healthy my entire life. It is now that I choose to be sick. No,
Hmm.
nobody says that, right?
No.
No, you see, but if the person is in the opposite, I've always been
Hmm.
sick my whole life, so I'm going to be sick for the rest of my life. That's more making
Hmm.
sense, right?
Hmm.
But it's also an identity. I've always
Hmm.
had the identity that I was sick, or I always had the identity that I was doing something. And so
Hmm.
now that you're trying to go in a different direction, is that what it is? I'm not saying it is, because again, this is part of self-reflection. It's part of the inner healing and the inner journey you're going to have with yourself to be able to
Hmm.
say, you know what? Even if I've never done this, I'm going to
Hmm.
show myself I can do this, and I can do it
Hmm.
in less than a week, even though you've been trying for 50 years or whatever years, okay? So that's
Yeah.
more the, there are some things that I've never done that I can't wait to do now. I was mentioning that I have a great public speaker that I really adore. His name is Jim Rohns. And he's actually, I think, one of Tony Robbins' coaches in his early years. Marvelous man. He says, you know, my day, we always had to find ways to help each other. You know, we had to find different ways to help each other. So the quote in my day was, you know what? I'm going to help you if you can help me, right? And then for a
Hmm.
while that worked because we were all helping each other. I help you with your car, you help me with my roof. You know, I'll help you with the garage sale, you help me, babysitting the kids. So it's always this back and forth, right? Then all of a sudden it starts breaking down where people then start thinking of themselves and then they start running short where this guy still keep, helping other people and nobody is helping him. Have you ever been there where you're doing all the work and nobody cares or nobody seems to care, right?
Hmm.
But when it really comes down to it, it's I'm not sure if it's whether they care or not. I think it's more that we get wrapped up in our own life. We have kids, we have businesses, we have jobs, we have things going on in our own life, and we're trying to take care of our own life, and not much extra energy is there for other people to help other people. There is sometimes, but not on a regular basis. So the term "I'll help you if you help me" doesn't really jive. And so I think the real thing is we need to change the quote. And the quote is this: I'll help me for you if you will help you for me. And that way I don't have to worry that you're okay or not because you're taking care of yourself, right? One of the first things we talk to parents about that have kids that have already gone through university and they're now in jobs and they're doing their thing, right? One of the first things they say is not whether or not they're in a profession that they like, you know? Like, in other words, I wanted my daughter to be a lawyer, but she did it for a year, didn't like it, and now she's a creative interior decorator or whatever. You know what the parents usually say after they graduate decorating school? Not that I'm disappointed you're not a lawyer. They don't say that. They say, "Are you happy? Are you taking care of yourself?" Yes, I've taken care of myself. I'm happy now that I'm doing something I absolutely love. And then the parents are happy.
Hmm.
So when we take care of ourselves, that means I'm doing this for you, but I'm taking care of myself first. And that's all about the year of the snake. We take
Hmm.
care of our own, we take care of ourselves. I'm doing it for you, so you don't have to worry about me. And if you're doing the same, if I see you like always having junk food and you're never getting out of the house, and I'm starting to worry about you. Are you going to be okay? And then you always have colds. Every time I talk to you, you're sneezing. and you're
Mhm.
sick, and now I'm worried about you. You see?
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
not taking care of themselves. That's where the stress is coming from. And if your kids aren't taking care of yourself, what does that do to your stress? But if they take care of themselves, everything's fine, everything's organized, everything's been taken care of, then you feel, okay, that's great. Now you've given me some peace of mind because you're taking care of yourself, right? So I think that's what it's all about. When we take care of ourselves, there is a level of self-love and self-appreciation, self-worth, self-image, and five other selves,
Mhm.
right? And so when you start going through all of that and start addressing, there's going to be less handles for this ego to hang on to. Because the ego really right now doesn't want you to go. And that's fine because you're an amazing person. I would miss you too, right?
Mhm.
So of course your ego wants you to stay because it
Mhm.
feels that you'll be out of a job, but it won't. The ego doesn't understand that the creator will give your ego a new job,
Mhm.
and that's going to be continuing your
Mhm.
transformation because you need to feel all along the way, and only the ego can do that. That as long as your ego is around, it will always address your lowest energy. If your
Mhm.
lowest energy is I'm not good enough, well then when you take care of that, then maybe the next one will be I wonder who I am. That's like a fifth dimensional question. Then your ego goes there. Your ego is
Mhm.
always at the lowest point of your energy, of your transformation,
Yeah.
of vibration, because it is managing you from beneath, and the angels are managing you from above. But the
Mhm.
ego is always right there, okay? And it always
Yeah.
gets a job. The higher you go, the higher the ego goes. Eventually, it'll be one.
Mhm.
That will be at the end. But the ego will never be out of a job. It will always transcend to a new responsibility for you because that's its job. The ego is extremely important. When you're in a hopelessness state, when you're in a state where you feel that I am just a hopeless piece of work, I'm a waste of space, like you're in that energy, then your ego is the one that pulls you out of all of that. Your ego is the one that says, "Hey, look at me. I am great." It's all about the ego because then you need the ego to bring you up to a point where no longer the ego anymore. Now the ego is always working on the lowest, and as you go up, the ego goes with you. The ego's never out of a
Mhm.
job.
Mhm.
It just gets a higher vibrational job of finding more about you, and you're always going to have doubts, and that's what the ego is there for. But then the
Mhm.
other part of you, your higher self, will kick in and say, "Hey, it's all good," and the ego
Mhm.
can back off. The ego is there that it's worried about you. It wants to make sure that you're sure of where you're going. That's why
Yeah.
some houses don't sell. When we talk to realtors and we talk to the energies of the home, and then we say that, oh, I've been trying to sell this home for like a year and a half and nobody wants it. And it's well priced, it's in a great neighborhood, but half the people can't even find the address, even though the numbers are 3 feet big. They get these big numbers and they miss it because the house doesn't want to go because it's worried about you. In a long and the short of it is if you're trying to sell your home and it's not selling, it's because you haven't told your home you're going to be okay.
Mhm.
Going to this other place and is now worried that you're not going to be okay. Your kids are going to be
Mhm.
okay, so it's going to hang on. It's going to dig its claws in. It won't want to sell. So that, but as soon as we do certain things around the home, and I can tell people how to do this, and you sort of calm the energy down. I'm going to be okay. It's a new family
Mhm.
coming in. They need help too.
Mhm.
You helped me when I was first moved in, and you nurtured me through all of that to where I am today. And I thank you for that. So now you're going to get a new family. So something like that. There's more to it, but in essence, you're telling the energy I'm going to be okay. Within a week,
Mhm.
the house sells. Right? After a
Yeah.
year and a half, it hasn't sold. It'll sell in a week. I had one time. Now this was lucky, of course, or whatever luck means. But we did that one time, and it sold the next day. It doesn't usually happen that fast, but
Mhm.
in this particular instance, it was right next day. So it was really hard for them to say it was just a coincidence because they couldn't sell it for so long and the next day it sold. But anyway, the point is there's something in your energy that energy is holding on to. And so make it so it's
But it's so much lighter now. But I realize also that's probably why I've been procrastinating on my businesses
that's it.
of speaking and and my coaching business because I've been afraid of who would listen to me, and if they don't listen, I'm just gonna end up as a failure, right? So it's so spot on. Like it goes deep, but it feels light already.
You have all the capabilities, you have all the tools, you have the knowledge. Just put it all together. Let's do this because this 2025, it's not going to wait another year for you to get through this. You're going to get through
I
it.
can.
Say, okay, I'm doing this, and be happy. Just say, I can't wait to find out all these crappy things that I've been holding on to all these years. I can't wait to get rid of this karma. I can't wait. In other words, change your vocabulary. You've
Yeah.
never been a victim, so don't put it as woe is me. All right, just say that you know what, I'm going to get this done despite everything that's happening around me. I can have the earth move underneath me, and I'll still find a way to get through this. That's
Yeah.
that's the kind of energy you need to draw from because you have that. I feel it. There's a warrior inside of you. Let her out.
It's coming. Yeah, it's coming right now.
No, don't come. Just let her out. Just open the door. Let her out. And the door handle is actually in your back, so it's almost like that handle you're talking about is a door. Open the door.
It is.
Or in your meditation, that's what that is. It's the doorway, and your ego is not pulling on you; it's pushing it to keep the door closed. It doesn't
Yeah.
want the warrior to come out.
No.
Bring
No,
it out.
exactly.
Bring it out. Let's do this. Let's kick some vibrational butt. Okay, love you, ladies. All right, and we'll see you next week. Okay, be
And
careful.
thanks, Stefan, for
Jen.
pushing me.
Yeah. Well, in a loving way, we're all there for you. All of us
Thank you,
have
Tony.
followed your journey, and we love you. But the thing is, we also know that you can do this. Okay, you are that capable. You are that good, and we're sending you light, and that's the most powerful thing we can do. All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just watch what happens over the weekend. Make sure that you are safe. Okay.
I have
Watch-
to look at Tony Robbins for 2 days for the rest of the day.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's right. He does have an event tomorrow, I think, eh? Or today and
No,
tomorrow.
they started yesterday and it's on right now and also
well-
tomorrow.
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow then.
Yeah.
All right, you take care.
Thank you, Tony. Love you.
Love you all. Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.